Good evening, and here we are with Simple Steps to Prosperity. After the summer break, we are starting this, hangout again. And today with me, I have a dear friend, Rita Rocker. Hi, Rita.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for being with me. Rita is really an unbelievable and incredible person. She's an educational and inspirational speaker. She's an international published author, and we co-authored a book together. And she's a communications and image specialist, a career consultant, and she's the founder of Transformation Academy. She's on the International Advisory Board for the Global Professional Woman Network of Speakers and Authors with, speakers and authors from 32 countries. She's appeared on national television and radio talk shows on self-esteem, communication. She's a seminar speaker, trainer, coach. She empowers individuals to become more accomplished communicators, gain greater confidence in business and in life, and project a dynamic professional image and create a successful career. So I'm very, very excited, Rita. We've talked in various occasions about the fact that there are so many people, especially women and women in their 50s, who are stuck in their lives with unsuccessful careers, and they believe that they cannot start afresh, they cannot reinvent themselves because they are too old, they don't have the skills. And we are here to empower them with, important messages.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And this is so exciting. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. Rita, I know there is a poem, if I remember correctly from our conversations, a poem that your mother wrote about your life many years ago, and that has been a great inspiration to so many women who have lived with defeat and disappointment and then rose up to a fresh start. Yes. Would you like to share it with us?
I would. I had a life that was very bad, had a lot of self-destruction, and a lot of chaotic, traumatic things that happened during my life. And I thank God for my mom. She's in heaven now, but she wrote a poem about my life. It was almost prophetic before a lot of the changes took place, and it's called Metamorphosis, and it's something that we all go through, and all of you have the opportunity for a metamorphosis, for a whole new start. And so I'll just share this poem with you. It said, "You'd never guess what happened to a little worm one day. Her heart was filled with sadness as she inched along her way. Oh, woe is me," she sadly cried, "how drab my life has been. No matter how I've tried and tried, it seems I just can't win. I'm tired of being in the mud, of crawling on the ground. If I could soar through the skies and walk or run around, I'm sure then I'd be happy, and I could laugh and smile. Then joy and peace would come my way, and life would be worthwhile." Then came a message, was written on the breeze. It seemed to say, "Be patient and put your heart at ease. Just trust me for your future and let your old self die. Inside that lowly worm I put a lovely butterfly." And so as faith took over and possessed her every thought, she kept a vision in her mind of the miracle to be wrought. And daily, never doubting, she drew nearer to her goal. No longer sad, discouraged, her God was in control. With one last mighty struggle for freedom from the past, she broke the bonds asunder that long had held her fast. And with delight that knew no bounds, she soared up towards the sky, enraptured, happy, joyous, a lovely butterfly.
Wow, that's really beautiful, a really beautiful poem. And now I understand why you say that it's been such a great inspiration to many women.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing it with us, Rita.
You're welcome.
Listen, you are a successful entrepreneur and you run a very successful business. What can you describe as the biggest challenge that you had to face?
Well, I would say probably because I grew up not having much self-esteem, there was always that fear of rejection, fear of failure. And I know that internally there are so many things that can keep us from becoming successful. And so for me, it was, the marketing aspect, cold calling, getting out there, fear of rejection, fear of failure, and staying motivated through all the ups and downs that we seem to go through, and just continuing on, because we have our good times and we have our bad times. So I think that was the toughest part for me, is when you see something doesn't work, not to give up, but to keep pursuing it.
Yeah, that's so important. But this is really very, very important. And how did you overcome this challenge?
Well, probably what I'm going to cover today is a little different from what a lot of the ladies will cover as far as the more practical, because I see that no matter how beautiful, how smart, how much money someone has, or, whatever kind of background they have, if inside they have these things that keep sabotaging them, then a lot of times they're not going to be able to really accomplish what they need to do as far as, marketing and getting out there. So it's really kind of what's going on inside of us. We have to take care of that first. That's the foundation of whatever else happens in our lives. And so one of the stories that I like to share in that respect, as far as being able to overcome the challenge, is thinking about a barracuda and a mackerel, which sounds kind of funny, but it has a really good story in it, and it really shows us our own human character when we're trying to overcome a challenge like that. And really, it was about a barracuda and a mackerel, and the mackerel is the barracuda's favorite food. And so researchers put the two in a tank with a glass partition in between. And they wanted to see what would happen, how long this barracuda would pursue, and then when it would finally give up. And so for 3 days, this barracuda kept beating its nose against the glass, and it was not able to get to the mackerel. It got discouraged, so it finally gave up, just like often happens with us. Well, then they pulled the partition out from between the two, and guess what happened? Nothing. Because in this little fish brain's mind, it could not get what was right there for the taking. And so I see, how many times do we look for barriers and reasons that something can't be done? Because we've tried before, we've tried and tried, and so it's like, I can't get it, I'm going to give up. And so many times that happens when you think about the barracuda and the mackerel, and we're afraid to reach out. Maybe something that's familiar is where we're choosing to stay, and we're stuck because we're afraid to reach out. So think of that barracuda and that mackerel. There comes a time when, as you change your habits, change things that you're doing for the good to reach your goal, that try it again, because maybe this time everything's clear and you can now do it. So think about that with the barracuda and the mackerel, and just go forward. It's hard sometimes, but we have to do that.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you're not ready. There's a little step to make something else to do, and then next time you may be ready to overcome the challenge. That's so true. That's so true. Yes. And what are some of the questions that you have to ask yourself to overcome a challenge such as the challenge that you had to face?
Well, there's a lot of things like, what do I really need to change, and be realistic on that. It could be relationships that need to be changed because people are maybe pulling you down, maybe just going to the library because it's so crazy at home sometimes when you're trying to work. Do I need to do things with my health? Exercise, eating better, because right now I'm just so darn tired that I can't think straight and I don't have the energy to pursue my goals. And sometimes that happens with people. What is it in my career that I need to change? So just sit down and really, first of all, ask yourself, what do I really need to change? A lot of times we don't like to face the facts of some of the things that we really do need to change in life. And that this is where we have to be honest. Another one is, what is it going to take to transform my life? And that could be new friends, new associates. A lot of times that's a big part of it. I know that was with my life. Maybe letting go of someone who let me down in some way and I know isn't good for the relationship. Classes. Do I need to take classes in business and computer What are some areas where I need to learn, get some new tools that will help me in my business? Another one is who or where can I turn to for support? And a lot of times as women, especially as more mature women, I think we're so used to always being there for everyone else that we're either afraid or embarrassed or just don't seem to want to ask for the help that we need. And so reach out and ask for the help that you need. In whatever area of life it is, and I'll cover that a little bit more later, but ask for the help that you need. Another one is just thinking who or what is preventing me from reaching my goals. Is it perceived or is it a real problem? Is it something that I really need to look at? And by that I mean, you know, sometimes there are things we can't change. Maybe we're a caregiver right now and we have to be. And so that means that we can't go off and travel, but maybe we can start doing a lot of blogging, a lot of writing. We can get on LinkedIn. We can contribute a lot. So maybe if you're kind of stuck, so to speak, in a place right now that you can't move out of, what can you do though? Maybe you need to go to a different city to pursue a position that's there, but you can't do it right at that moment. How many connections can you make with people from that city? I mean, I live in the middle of the United States, you know, and Paola lives in Rome, and yet we have this awesome experience and opportunity to meet each other. So you can do that too. And think of some things like that that you can do, steps that you can take where you are right now. And then just, you know, if you're speaking on negative terms, and I've fought with that all my life, negative terms about who I am, what I do, what I'm worth. How can you change that? And for the ladies that are especially over 50, it's like, well, gosh, I'm too old to change careers now. I'm too old to get out there and get a new job. And instead, you could think of something like, you know, change that confession and make it something like, I have years of valuable experience, insight, and creative relationship skills that will give me the favor to get the new job and the type of career I want. So think of that. You know, you have to totally change what comes out of your mouth sometimes and what pops into your head. I know I've done that a lot. So those are just some things that I hope will be helpful.
Oh yeah, thank you. I think that these are all questions that are very, very important to us. And you know, there are so many people who simply don't ask these questions themselves, and you know, sometimes just reflecting to a few simple things can be so helpful. Rita, you empower women with your programs and services. What are the major obstacles, both internal and external, a woman has to face when starting a new business or career, and including, you know, more mature, older women?
Well, I think like internally, it's kind of like what I've been mentioning too. It's the negative tapes, the fear, the not feeling good enough, or having enough education, enough money, living on the right side of the tracks, all of those things that keep talking to us. You know, well, if I had more education, if I had this nice husband, you know, that was supportive, if I had this family that was behind me. So we think of all those things internally, and sometimes those are really hard to break, but that's again the foundation that's going to make the difference, is changing those. Now externally, a lot of that is influence from family members, influence from friends, people that maybe haven't seen us use those skills and abilities that we know we have, and so they might put us down and go, oh, you can't do that. Well, you know, what makes you think you're going to be successful in that way? And so a lot of that external is with friends, the career, maybe having the job that's kind of tough right now, and maybe a lot of negative things are being said on the job, and you know, there's all kinds of things, external things that will cause us to sometimes just need to put a bubble around ourselves and just let all that bounce off so that we stay focused on what we know is right, what our passion is, what we know we're good at, where our heart is. And then I think of, you know, older women. I'm not so sure about other parts of the world, but I know in the United States there's a lot of age discrimination, and it's very frustrating because a lot of times the younger people are taking over the jobs of the more mature people, thinking, oh, their computer skills aren't up to par, or they're just not with it anymore, you know, they're too old-fashioned, etc. And so we see that a lot, and I think there it's so important that women really try to stay up with, you know, current trends, stay up with what's going on, and be able to be more supportive in that. But we can find our own groups of support, just like what you're doing, Piola, there to really help women. And that's what we need to do, is encourage each other. And if it's okay, I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs from the book that was from the Baby Boomer book.
Yeah, the book we co-authored.
Yes, we co-authored on the Baby Boomer book. Ladies, get that. It's an awesome book, and it'll be very encouraging for you. But if I just read a little bit, a couple paragraphs of this that I thought would be very helpful.
Yes, of course, of course.
And it says, you know, sometimes the life of a boomer must be completely shaken, shifted, and reshuffled to bring her to where she was meant to be in the first place. Some events are beyond our control that make those shifts necessary. And some of those events that happen to all of us could be losing a job, children moving back home or moving away from home, a health crisis, the death of a loved one, someone moving across the country. Others open up the time and opportunity to explore new adventures. Even if you are experiencing issues that have hindered your ability to do what you love, read on and think about how you can incorporate your desires into your everyday life. First secret, if you have not grown up by age 50, you don't have to. I love that. Think about that. We don't have to grow up. Allow yourself to rekindle your childlike faith and enthusiasm as you ride that roller coaster of life in high gear. You getting older? No, you're just getting started, and keep that thought in your head. Could it be possible that age only counts with wine and cheese? I like that too. We're not getting older. We're like wine and cheese. Okay, by the time we have reached age 50, many of us have pushed all the important dreams and goals deep into the back of life's closet. Situations, obstacles, and excuses may have taken up residence in our homes and in our heads, replacing those dreams with those ever-changing things that we call life. Well, I have a news flash for you. It is never too late to pull those old dreams out of the boxes, so ladies, start doing that now. Pull them down off the shelf, tear off that paper with childlike enthusiasm, and then initiate your plan. So you can do that. You're never too old. I don't care how old you are. And then just ponder this one more thing that I saw quote last year, and it was so awesome, and it has really blessed so many women. And it says, if you are not being treated with love and respect, check your price tag. Perhaps you have marked yourself down. It's you who tells people what you are worth by what you accept. Get off the clearance rack and get behind the glass where the valuables are kept. Learn to value yourself. If you don't, no one else will. Author unknown, but that is so true.
This is very true. This is very true. We are not getting older. We're getting wiser.
Yes, like fine wine and cheese.
Yeah, that's true. Rita, which characteristics of a mature woman that, according to you, are particularly helpful when she is starting a new venture or a new career at a more mature age?
Well, I think one of the most important ones is to think younger. I have a friend who recently moved back to this area, and she was out looking for a job, but she's had such a rough life, and she's in her early 60s, one of the highest IQs of anybody I've ever known. And yet she was so beaten down, she went out to look for a job. She had no makeup on. Her hair was just hanging. She was looking kind of frumpy because that's how she was feeling. And I gave her a bunch of makeup, and I said, some clothes. I said, no, we have to redo this. And so thinking younger, even if we're tired, try to think younger. You know, a lot of times when we're competing with younger people, what we have to do is compete with our energy. Compete with fresh makeup on our face, hairdo, things that will brighten us up, and so we don't look tired, so that we don't look like we're too worn out to do anything. And we can do a lot with that. We really can. So I'd say thinking younger, learning new trends in the area of expertise or business that you have or that you want to go into, start reading up on those things more, keep up with what's happening in the world and in your industry. Continuous learning is so important. We can do a lot with free webinars, programs, blogs that we read, things like that that will keep you up. And being spunky, a go-getter, and being determined to follow your heart and your vision. Don't let anybody ever take that away from you. But those are important, and just generate energy. Sometimes we're worn out, and it's like, if I have to go interview with one more person, I'm going to scream. But before we go in to talk with someone about a job or about our new career that we're breaking out into, we're going to have to get a smile on our face and take a deep breath and think what kind of energy that you're actually transmitting to other people. And then the trials and setbacks sometimes can get us down, but I would say just use those to sharpen your tools for what you have. What doesn't work, so now go out there and use the things that do work and just go in a different direction. And then one more thing about that is I think about the pearl. And a pearl is a beautiful thing, but it didn't start out that way. And what happened? Sometimes we feel like we're a pearl. We're stuck. You and I talked about being stuck. We're over 50. We're stuck. We want to get out of our shell, but we don't know how to do it. Well, what happened with that pearl then is, it had a sharp, jagged piece of glass that kept irritating it inside, and it hurt so much. And that pain is what caused it to start getting that liquid coating from inside the oyster to coat that sharp grain of sand. And that's kind of like us. A lot of times it's the gnawing pain inside of us that actually will prod us to begin that process, to do the new things, the positive things that will help us to create a new life. And then what comes out? A beautiful pearl, like you all are. And then you think, how did they get that pearl out of there? Well, there's something called an adductor muscle, and it's just a little thin skin in between the two sides of the shell. It takes just a little teeny slice and then opens it up, and here's this beautiful pearl. And so sometimes, our process of opening up and letting that pearl come out isn't real easy. But as you do that and you open yourself up to the new things in life, you'll be amazed at this beautiful pearl that comes out of you. And I really want to encourage you with that. And that's also in my book, which I'll hope at the end of your rope, Steps to Rebuild Your Life. There's a whole story in there about that is very, very encouraging.
Yeah. While you were talking, while you were speaking, I was thinking, sometimes really it's us. I mean, we are blocking ourselves, and it takes sometimes very little to get out, open up, and let yourself shine. And I was thinking, what you are today, it's no longer the person you were 10, 20, 30, or 40 years ago, so you cannot keep comparing yourself to what you used to be. You're a new person, a new woman now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you were to advise a woman in her 50s who's trying to reinvent herself and start her own business, what would you suggest to her?
I would say, first of all, write your life's script. And that could be, okay, sit down. This could maybe take a few hours to do this, but sit down, write your life script. Go through your life and write down the things that have happened to you, the things that have impacted you, either in a positive or negative way. And especially because you can do that. I mean, as women, we can rewrite our life script from here on out. You really can. Not that you're going to just see it all happen right away, because that's not realistic, but you can. And then start going over all those points in your life. And it's like, okay, I've been through a lot of abuse, a lot of things in my life. And it's kind of like, what can I do now to never allow that to happen again? And then start rewriting the steps that you can take to make a new life for yourself. Friends, family, career, education, all those things, you can help to rewrite those and establish what we call a new normal. Make a whole new normal out of your life. And you can do that. Transitions are opportunities for growth. A lot of them are not real easy, but they're awesome opportunities for growth. there was something I read here. I'm just going to look at my note right quick. An American writer named Sally Kimpton, and she said, it's hard to fight an enemy who has outposts in your head. And that's what we're doing, is we're kicking those enemies out of our head, rewriting our life script. Everything that's a negative, think about it. Is, okay, this thing I wrote down, is this positive? Has it helped me or has it hurt me? And everything that's hurt you, that's when you sit there and you start writing what it would take to get out of that situation and to move forward. And some of those steps are a little scary, but they're necessary. You know, nobody has the right to determine our future by something they say or how they treat us. And that was something that took me many years to learn, is we don't have to live down to self-fulfilling critical things that other people have said. No one has the right to determine our future by an opinion. It's just mere words. It's just something that came out of their mouths. So I really encourage you, when those tapes come up, rewrite them. Rewrite them. Get new friends, new affirmations, new mental tapes. And there was another quote I saw that said, you are the architect of your life. What are you building? How high do you want to go? And so really that's part of rewriting your life, you know, taking the history and rewriting it. And just a couple more things I wrote down here as I glance down here at my notes. Some of the things you can do, again, you need to spiff up your computer skills, because, you know, you're going to need Excel and you don't know how to do it. You can probably go on Microsoft and you can get free tutorials there. Any computer classes you need, go ahead and get those. We have something over here called SCORE, and it's a Service Corps of Retired Executives. So no matter where you live, there are probably organizations, I know Paola is working with that, to try to help you build a business and take the steps necessary. So sometimes that's a little scary. Sometimes we have to swallow our pride and go get the help that we need. Definitely taking time for prayer and divine guidance and direction. That has been my #1 key for a long, long time now, and that's so critical. Start networking with positive groups of people. Get on LinkedIn or other organizations. Join groups, and then when they have comments or articles in there where you know how to answer that, start contributing all the time with expertise and advice, because that will give you credibility, and it will also help connect with other people. I connected with Paola actually through LinkedIn, through the Professional Woman Network. So that's how you build up your network and get involved. It's really, really important to get involved. And you can do that at home, especially if you're kind of tied to home right now with children or caregiving. Daily, just work on recognizing and changing all of your discouraging thoughts. And you might have to do that every few minutes until it becomes more of a practice of, I'm going to get it, I'm going out there, and I'm going to do this. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes also, if I can add something, Rita, also, finding a coach. Sometimes, when you are on your own, you don't do things and you think that, it's too difficult for you. But if you have somebody who really helps you, coaching you with the little steps that you have to make to, recreate your career or your business, I think this is also important. You mentioned that marketing and promoting yourself was a real challenge for you, and this is one of the biggest challenges, Rita, that my clients have to face. And in this respect, I believe that personal branding is very important today, and it's also a way to get to know yourself better and to be more focused on what you do. What do you do for your personal brand and your social media presence?
Okay, well, with the personal brand, you are your #1 brand. It doesn't matter what your product or your service is. You are the first thing that people will see and talk to. And so #1 importance is you, how you feel, how you look, how you package yourself. Just another little shameless promotion here. The book called Guide to Marketing Yourself for Success that I wrote, that is available, and that is so helpful with tips. First of all, who are you? What do you really want to do? are you doing what you're good at, what you want to do, not what other people expected you to do, but what you're good at. And so think about that first of all when you're branding yourself, because you can't brand yourself doing something that you really don't believe in or that you're not comfortable with. Again, expose yourself as much as you can on Facebook, LinkedIn by contributing. That is huge. Look at yourself in the mirror, listen to yourself. And I ask people, would you want to listen to yourself? And one time a mentor told me that I sounded very harsh and very coarse on the phone, and I did not sound very professional when I answered the phone. And at first I was really kind of shocked. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to swallow my pride. I'm going to listen to what she's saying, and she was right. I really did not sound very good on the phone. So that was something that I knew was important if I was going to be a professional person and exhibit a good brand. And so I worked on it until it came off a lot better. So sometimes we have to swallow our pride too. But look the part, act with class and dignity. If you want to take, again, you can find a lot of programs and classes online for etiquette, because that's very important, how you meet someone, how you shake their hands, your body language. I do a lot of classes in nonverbal communications, and so think about those things too. Volunteer at events. If you're too shy to just go in somewhere and try to work a room, try to volunteer in an event so that you can start meeting people and making friends. If there are any little mini trade shows that sometimes women's organizations will have them, and maybe they're only like $5 or $10 in US, at least money to have a table and market your products and services, do that. Anything that you can participate in, volunteer in to get more exposure. If there's a chamber of commerce, try to go to some of those and connect with people. Those are all things that you can do, writing, speaking, all of that to really brand yourself as a credible professional.
Oh, thank you. That was so useful, very important. Sometimes we think that we have to be just online, but also networking and being present at events offline is extremely important, meeting people in person. Rita, that my business brand name is Project Prosperity, and prosperity to me means so many things. You have prosperity in all spheres of your life. What does prosperity mean to you, and what is the #1 prosperity secret in your life?
Well, prosperity, I know, means different things to different people. One thing that I saw that I really liked was to break out and to push forth. I'd never seen that before until recently, and I thought, yes, break out of the old comfort zones, break out of our cocoon, and push forth, just like you push forth a baby. Push forth with the dream that, to birth your dream. To me, that is really being prosperous when you actually see the manifestation of your dream and you prosper. Pushing forth your destiny to your destiny and breaking out of that. Breaking out of any life cycles that may have, kept you back. To me, that's being really prosperous in a different way. I also read here, and I'll just look over here at my note. To prosper also means to succeed in business affairs, accomplish, fulfill, complete, and achieve economic success. And it is a journey. Most of the time it's going to be a journey, sometimes a longer journey than we would like it to be. But to succeed in business, to accomplish, fulfill, and complete your goals. And that, to me, is when you're really prosperous. It's not strictly about money or even money and health, but there's so many things, mind, soul, body, spirit, that, to me, is real prosperity.
Yeah. And what does success mean to you?
I think that's rejoicing in your lifestyle, your blessings, your talents, your achievements. A lot of people think success is what kind of level you're at in your job and how much money you make and how big your house is and how fancy your car is. But to me, real success is being happy in whatever it is you want to do. If you have a job where you're really making a difference in people's lives and you're barely making a little over minimum wage, that is still success in my mind, because you're doing what your compassion is, what your heart tells you to do. And so I will always look at success as being what makes you happy and what's for the greater good of everyone, and not just what's in the bank account.
Yeah. So we've mentioned prosperity, success, and now we can touch upon fulfillment and happiness. So personally, I believe that feeling fulfilled and happy about your life is about finding a balance between your physical, mental, and spiritual life. What do you do to find or keep this balance in your life?
Well, for me, and I have a hard time sitting still more than 5 minutes. So I'm not one who probably has my head down enough of the time, but it's important to focus on what you're doing, to get really focused, sit down, head down, feet up, as we call it, and really work hard to accomplish what you need to do. But then there are times we need to take a break, and that could be taking a walk. I like to meet friends for coffee or dinner, or go dancing, or go to the park, or anything like that that makes you particularly happy. Some people just want to go for a bike ride, read a book, something like that. Some people are so focused that they feel guilty if they don't spend every waking minute trying to accomplish something that will help them achieve their life's goals. But then that also leaves family members empty, that leaves them empty, and it can actually kind of harm a person's health after a while if they do that. So it's really important. Do what's fun for you. Take some time for God, be in prayer. There are other times too, if I'm really stressed, I'll just listen to some really uplifting, music, something that's calming, and that alone can change the mind in just a few minutes and help you relax.
And Rita, what are your new business projects now? What are you working on?
Well, I've always worked with people, in the communication skills, professional image, business etiquette, all of that. My heart and my passion, again, has been all wrapped up in what I wrote in the book, Hope at the End of Your Rope, Steps to Rebuild Your Life. And so what I'm going to be working on now is contacting people and really working on getting into conferences and retreats where this program, as well as the book, can actually really help to transform people's lives into being healthy, happy, productive, and achieving their goals too.
Wow, beautiful. And what final thoughts would you like to leave us with?
Well, again, our value is not tied up in what we do, how much money we have, or anything like that. Our value is really tied up in the legacy that we're going to leave, where our heart is, how we're interacting and helping other people as well. And so to me, it's not looking at the past, but making sure from this day forward, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to pursue my dreams. I'm going to do what I know will impact not only my life, but my family's life and also my future, and leave a legacy. So think about that legacy that you want to leave. And then just know that God's not hindered by anything. He's not hindered by our past, our education, our bank account, whatever. And He can create a whole new life for us. So I'll just read one more thing from my book here, if I could, just another paragraph in ending.
Yeah.
Preparations for fulfilling your purpose are not just through higher education, building a hefty retirement, or amassing more worldly experiences. Some of life's most difficult lessons are the most valuable and will be used the most often. And I can say a big amen to that one. If you do not know what your destiny is yet, sit quietly and think about what burns passionately within you. What puts a smile on your face when you think about it? What hopes and feelings, even when you put them back on the shelf of doubt, never really go away? They're still always going to be there in your heart. Could that be your passion? Is your life's purpose hanging on to you for dear life, even if you don't see how it could ever happen? And I know with me that happened every time I put something away in the back and just got a regular job. That passion was still in me, and I could never get rid of it. So if that's you, then know that that is a real purpose for your life, to pursue that. And just, again, think of, I like to say, let's sing, dance, and ride the roller coaster of life in high gear. and get funky and determined, and know that you know, you can talk to Paola or me, either one. If you will need some encouragement, I'm sure we'd be happy to be there for you.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you, Rita. I would love to say to our attendees that they can ask questions. They can either ask them in the chat area that they see on, or I have also the Q&A feature, so they can use both if you want to ask some other questions to Rita. And in the meantime, while they maybe think about the questions that they would like to ask you, can you tell them where they can find your books?
Yes, they can order my books through my website. It's transformationacademy.com. And there's a link then that says products on there, transforming products. And I have several books that I've co-authored, as well as the full books, Hope at the End of Your Rope, and also the Guide to Marketing Yourself for Success.
Perfect. And at the end of this hangout, I will redirect you to a page where you find all contact details for Rita if you want to get in touch with her. And I will also publish your contact details, Rita, in the comment area on Google Plus under this video and on my YouTube channel. So you will be able to get in touch with Rita whenever you want. If you miss this link, please contact me and I will be happy to put you in contact with Rita. So is there any question from the audience? No questions? Sometimes people are shy,
yes.
even if they don't appear on the screen.
I think about things, but I don't usually ask.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you a question concerning marketing, because, you know, this is really marketing yourself, promoting yourself is really a huge, huge challenge to many people.
Yes.
And yes, is there, when you have to market yourself online, Rita, is there any, you know, platform or social media network that, in your opinion, is, you know, the best one a person can start with when, you know, they're starting to build their online presence?
You know, I've seen so many opinions of, depending on, you know, what expert you're talking to, that, and so I just wrote down some here to start with. I mean, a lot of times it's easier for someone to have a Facebook page, you know, but have a business page versus your personal page too, so you can keep those kind of separated somewhat, and that will definitely help on Facebook. The one that's been the most valuable by far to me is LinkedIn, because I've gotten involved in so many different professional groups and been able to contribute to conversations, and again, meet awesome people like Paola, and get involved in the Professional Woman Network, which I would highly recommend too, through LinkedIn. And you can find careers on there, you can do all kinds of research on there. So I would say LinkedIn for professional might be even more helpful. I've seen people use Pinterest and actually build quite a large successful business by posting products and things that they have on Pinterest. Some people swear by Twitter. I don't really use Twitter much, but some people have had very good luck in there, continuing to post constantly, so you keep coming in front of people. YouTube, definitely, if you can start getting some videos going, do that as well. There's one that I used a little bit called Biz Yeti. It's B-I-Z and then Y-E-T-I, and you can have a free page on there, and you can post blogs, you can post articles, you can post events, and you can post videos on there too. So that would be another one you could try.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think we've covered a lot. And if you feel shy, or maybe some questions may come to your mind later, you can always get in touch with Rita or myself, and I will be happy, as I said, to put you in contact with Rita. In the details that I will publish, there is your email address and everything, so they will know how to get in touch with you. For now, Rita, thank you very much. It's been an amazing interview with you. I've learned so much from you. I always learn something when we speak, and it's been really a pleasure to have you tonight with me.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it very much. I look forward to some more conversations together.
Yes, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you, Rita. Have a nice rest of the day for you. It's night over here, but it's a full afternoon there.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Rita. Bye-bye.